But we do start with the big breaking news that we brought you in the last half an hour. Premier League clubs have today voted in favour of keeping VAR. James Savundra is alongside me now for much more. Just give us a little bit of an explanation then of what's happened, the voting process and how it's all worked.
Yeah, so last month Wolves triggered this vote which took place today at the Premier League AGM. So we had the vote on whether or not to abolish VAR. Now, we didn't expect that Wolves would get the votes required. They needed 14 votes, a 14-vote majority, to see VAR abolished. The majority of clubs like VAR. They simply want to see it improved. But for Wolves, a real failure when it comes to gathering enough votes today, because they simply received just one vote, and that was Wolves themselves. So the 19 other Premier League clubs have voted to keep VAR. Crucially, though, clubs want evolution rather than revolution. Wolves may feel vindicated because what we're going to see is an improved VAR moving forward. So the clubs today, 19 of the clubs have voted for VAR to stay. They want to see it improve moving forward.
You just alluded to it a couple of times there then. VAR does continue, but how will it evolve in the coming seasons?
One thing the Premier League are keen to point out is that we're getting far more accurate decisions with VAR than without it. But clearly there's an agreement from fans, from the Premier League, from players, from managers, that there needs to be an improvement. We do need to see improvement. So today at the AGM, the Premier League put together 6 different areas in which they'll look to have improvements moving forward. So Howard Webb spoke to the different clubs today about this. And there's 6 different areas here. Now, one is maintaining a high threshold for VAR intervention to deliver consistency and less interruptions. Secondly, they're looking to reduce delays to the game, and we'll see that with the introduction of semi-automated offside technology. We expect that to come in autumn. Now, they want to improve the fan experience. We brought you a YouGov survey early today where 9 out of 10 fans wanted VAR either removed or changed because the fan experience hasn't been great for either viewers at the stadium or those from home. So they want a reduction in delays within stadium announcements and replays as well. Fourthly, work with the PGMOL on implementation of more robust VAR training for those working at Stockley Park, those making those decisions when we do use video technology. Crucially, an increase in transparency and communication around VAR. And finally, a delivery of a fan and stakeholder VAR communication campaign. So one thing we will expect to see next season will be an improvement in the speed of decisions made. And I think Wolves will feel that, despite the fact they've not got things their own way when it comes to the vote today, I think hopefully they'll see and will see VAR used slightly better moving forward.
In those bullet points there, we touched on the fan experience. There are a couple of things which aren't in the Premier League's jurisdiction when it comes to VAR, but even that, they're trying to have a bit of an influence onto those above them.
Yeah, so this is one thing the Premier League have really been keen to point out over the last few years, because so many fans in the stadium, so many fans watching at home, they want to see referees explaining the decisions. They want to know why a decision's been reached. They want to speak to a referee and hear from a referee in the post-match interviews. But simply that is something that the Premier League can't allow, whether they want to or not, because of the IFAB rules. One thing that worked really well in the Women's World Cup was that you saw the referee explain the decisions, and that really helped the fan experience, because whether or not you agree with the decision or not is one thing, but at least if you understand why somebody has come to it and you can see their reasoning, then you can understand it a bit more. And I think that's been the frustration from so many fans. They've seen decisions go against their clubs. In the stadium sometimes, they're unsure what the decision has been. So if you do get more communication, I think it helps everybody. But the Premier League would like more communication. They'd like to be able to give more. They've tried to do more with the mic'd up shows we see when we see Howard Webb explaining the decisions, why certain decisions have been made, admitting sometimes that errors have been made. So moving forward, they want more communication, but they are restricted somewhat by IFAB.
James, thank you very much indeed for the moment. Plenty of reaction to come to that then over the course of the afternoon, including from Kick It Out's Head of Player Engagement, Troy Townsend, who joined us just in the last hour. He's experienced the VAR technology firsthand and has a lot of sympathy for officials who are trying to work both quickly and correctly.
You know, the funny thing was I was at an event, a Premier League event recently, and they put me on the VAR. So to have a look and see what I could do and find out how difficult it is for the officials. I'm pleased to say I got all 3 decisions right, but one of the decisions took 9 minutes. So it just proves that whilst you think that they should be working quicker, you think that they should have all the angles covered. By the time I looked at all the angles, the guy that was overseeing it was like, Troy, it's 9 minutes. So, yeah, I do sympathise with, you know, what they have to do.